look at compound inequalities. Now, compound inequalities. Now, first of all, we already know that inequalities have a less than, a greater than, a less than or equal to, a greater than or equal to, or a not equal to. So we already have those pieces of the puzzle. But what we really need to talk about is instead of just something like this, 3x plus 2 is less than 4, and we have minus 2, 3x is less than 2x, we divide by 3, x is less than 2/3, there we go, we graph it on a number line, and we get 2/3, open circle because there's no equal to, x is less than, so we shade this way. Instead of dealing with that, what if we have the following? Instead of just having it limited at one end, it has to be less than 4. Let's talk about if I have it's greater than -4, but less than +4. So now we have a compound because it is combined, okay? Now, we can do this one of two ways. The first way is we can do it just like we did previously. Oh, look, -2, but wait a minute, there are 3 parts. So all we have to do is do -2 to all 3 parts. And so we have -6 is less than 3x is less than 2. Now at this point, what did we do previously? We divided both sides by 3. Well, here, let's divide by 3, but I got to do it to all parts. So I have -2 less than, nope, not 3x anymore because those go away. X less than 2/3. Okay, so we have this right here. And in this case, we can put it on a number line just like always. Here we go. What 2 points do we need? Well, I'm going to need a -2 back here and a 2/3 up here. Now, because there's no equal to signs, they're going to be open circles. And let's just read them separately. Well, let's start here. X is less than 2/3. I think we can all agree x is less than 2/3. So we're going to shade that way. And so we're going to say this way is our shading. Now, in this case, we have to read it from the x. X is what? X, go to the big side. X is greater than -2. So we're shading this way. So in this case, where the x is between them, what we end up with, where is x both greater than -2, but less than 2/3? Well, the only option there is this center section. So our final answer looks like this. -2, +2/3, open circle, shade in the middle. There you go. Now, I told you that's one way. So that's method 1. Let's do method 2. So method 2 would be if I took this and I broke it into 2 pieces. What if I just simply said -4 less than 3x plus 2 and broke that half, and so I just dealt with it like that. And then I went over here and I said, okay, fine, and 3x plus 2 less than 4, and this would be and, because I have 2 different pieces. So I just take one thing and I break it into 2 parts, and then I solve it like always, -2, -2, -2, -2, -6 less than 3x less than 2, divide by 3, divide by 3, divide by 3, divide by 3, x is less than -2, and x is greater than -2 because I got to read it this way, and x is less than 2/3. Okay, and we graph it and it turns out to be exactly the same. So you can break it into 2 pieces or not. Now, let's look at something slightly different. What if we're given something that's already in 2 pieces? So I have 3x -7 is less than 4, or 2x plus 3 is greater than 10. All right, so in this case, I'm just going to solve them because one problem is really 2 problems all at once. So +7 + 7 -3 3x less than 11, and 2x is greater than 7, And now we have divide by 3, divide by 3, divide by 2, divide by 2. We have x is less than, let's see here, 3 and 3/4. And over here I'm going to have x is greater than 3.5. Okay, now this is where it becomes super important, because when I put these on a line, I get 3 and 3/4 and I get 3 1/2. Now, does everybody agree that 1/2 is smaller than 3/4, right? Okay. Now, x is less than this, so it would be open circle and shaded this way. This is x is greater than 3.5, and it's open circle and shaded this way. This is where the word in the middle makes all the difference. If it is or, I'm good enough if I have this, or if I have this. So for example, I get to go on a trip to Six Flags, for example, if I have an A average on my grades, or even if I don't have A average, if I have perfect attendance, this or this qualifies me to go on the trip. So it's or, one or the other. Okay? And if that's the case, I'm going to take all this option and all this option, which means I would shade all of this way, and I would shade all of this way. So it actually means, because they overlap, I get everything that way, everything, I get the whole line. But if I redid this same problem, but I have an and. Now, let's take the example of our trip. I can only go on the trip if I have an A in the class and I must have perfect attendance. Well, that's going to be a lot harder to do, because I could have an A in a class and not have perfect attendance. I can't go. I got a perfect attendance but not an A in the class. I can't go. Because if it's and, I got to have both of them, in which case the same problem but with and not or, 3.5, 3 3/4. Here we go, here we go. Shade this way, shade this way. Where's the only part that has the and, where both of them are true? In the middle. So I want you to pay attention to the or and the and, because it makes a big difference. So everything else with compound inequalities, you can either separate them into two, or you can do them all at once. Take your pick. A lot of times it's just easier to separate them into two and do two pieces separately. And you got to pay attention to the and or the or. Okay, so with that, that's what you need for tonight's homework.